Now we have started the recording. This is the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. It is November 3rd. It's 8:35. This is our Wednesday morning meeting. We are meeting virtually and in real time here in Glenwood Springs. We're happy to be here. We are going to start with the roll call. Ms. Larson, who is our hearings manager, cannot be heard, so I'm going to take the roll call. So bear with as I try to do this correctly, and I don't know if I'll get it alphabetically. But Angela Bowe, are you here? Thumbs up.
Here.
Okay. Commissioner Gonzalez. Here. Commissioner Najapa.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins. Here. Commissioner Messner. Commissioner McGowan.
Here.
Commissioner Hackett. We have 6 out of 7 commissioners present. That is a quorum. That means we are allowed to do business. So we will move into business of the commission. We start with commissioner comments. Commissioners, do you have comments for the good of the cause? Anybody want to talk about the last couple of days? Commissioner Messner.
Folks, hear me okay? So, John Messner, one of the commissioners up here, I want to thank Garfield County, the town of Glenwood Springs, for having us here. We had a pretty great day yesterday, going over to the North Fork, hearing from some folks in the town of Paonia. I think we spent almost 3 hours having public comment over in the town of Paonia. Had an opportunity to see the valley and better understand the oil and gas activities in the North Fork Valley, as well as the potential impacts or the impacts of oil and gas activities in the North Fork area of the Gunnison. Heard from 45, 50 different individuals at the Paonia listening session yesterday, and so that was great. Looking forward to today and hearing from folks in Garfield County, Pickens County, Eagle County, the different towns up and down the Roaring Fork Valley, and then up and along I-70 corridor. So appreciate being here, and thanks for having us.
Any other comments from commissioners? Okay, seeing none, we will move into general public comment. We've got a list of people that have signed up online, and we also have a list of people that signed up here this morning. We will start with elected officials who will each have 5 minutes because they are elected to represent a number of people. We then will move into general public comment, and folks will have 3 minutes to speak to us. We look forward to hearing from folks. I'll be keeping track of time. So when your time is up, I will raise my iPhone. That means we would like you to sort of wrap it up, if that's okay. And if that will work. I see that we have, just looking at my list, Tom Jankowski and Gary Moyer as elected officials. I see Mr. Jankowski. Would you like to start us up, Commissioner?
I'm Tom Jankowski, Garfield County Commissioner, honorable commissioners, the oil and gas industry. I want to talk a little bit about the state of the industry in the Western Slope right now. The industry is really at a slowdown, and it's really at a time when gas is $6 an MCF. We should be seeing an uptick in the industry, that is happening in Utah and Wyoming, just right across the state line, but it's not happening in Western Garfield County. I am disappointed with the oil and gas regulations, and the fact that the natural gas industry kind of fell under the same regulations as the oil industry. And there are definitely differences in technology. differences in the geology, topography over here, and also on the eastern slope. And I really feel your rules and regs are almost urban for the oil industry and didn't take into account our rural counties. But this is, you know, I'm complaining about water under the bridge or spilt milk, so to speak. But in reality, right now the rules and regulations are cumbersome. They've chased away capital from the natural gas industry in Colorado. And here's some of the real statistics right now. In 2018, there were 702 2S well permits in Garfield County. In 2021, there have been 133, but only 17 of those well permits have been post-mission change rules and regulations. So really a downturn. Also in Garfield County, you know, people think I'm talking about jobs, but you know, we have a diverse economy here in Garfield County, and natural gas industry is only about number 10 on our list of different sectors of jobs. But it's really important for the county and for all the taxing authorities as far as property tax. It's the number 2 industry behind residential, which isn't an industry for property tax. In 2019, we had for Garfield County $18.2 million in property tax. Today, in 21 is 11.8, and then for our projections for 22, it's $7.5 million. So almost a 60% decrease since 2019. Even on the other side, which is all our taxing districts for Garfield County, the property tax from the oil and gas industry was $70.6 million. Our projections for 22 are $28.6 million. So every taxing district, whether it be the county or school districts or fire districts, parks and rec districts, hospital districts, the CMC, libraries, they're all being affected by this. I'm aware of 3 operators trying to put together development plans for wells in our county, and there's only 3 operators left in our county. All of them have concerns with not how stringent the regs are, but just how time consuming, expensive, and hard they are to follow. And it's time to put resources towards staffing, guidance, documents, and support to the regulated community so the permitting process is accessible and usable by the operators. Piceance Basin is the 2nd largest natural gas reserves in the United States, 66 trillion cubic feet still in the ground. And the industry is going to be part of the Garfield County economy for the next 100 years. I just want to, and people say, well, climate change, that's not going to happen. But everyone in this room's used a product that's part of the natural gas industry. They've used it from when they got up this morning to when they're here right now. And if it's not for heating,
please.
current. We set in budget hearings for a county of. And they had like a 12% cut to our county budget overall. This year, we're in the middle budget process. We have another 15% cut. When we don't see any cut, because oil and gas industry, coal industry, that is a result of the fact that it is more difficult to do business in Colorado than other places. So I don't want to repeat what Commissioner Jankowski said. We're in the same scenario as far as our special districts. Only again 80% of that property tax revenue was 7%. But on our lease dollars is what funded our government. But county that special districts are almost because of the bus. Our population in Illinois County is protected by state monitor's office, keep it on about 8%. It dropped from 22 to 2020 to 2 point something. Don't be fooled to think that all of Colorado is experiencing. We are seeing that as a result of regulation on the buses. But I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about how energy is the basis of our standard of living. It's one of the natural resources that we require as human beings. We got to get that energy from somewhere. It produces our goods. When we make less goods available, and that's what's happening. Our standard of living has to go down. We may be seeing that in form of inflation. That's a reduction of standard of living because there's less goods. We're sitting on one of the largest gas fields in the world right here. In the Kansas Basin, clean natural gas. I testified before the Highway Transportation Committee a month or so ago. The plan is to be 100% electric cars by 2022. If they're having to deal with greenhouse emissions statewide, I don't have pollution problem. Pollution problem. Not a one size fits all. Here we are, mining energy now from countries that are not our friends when we have the resource right here. How about we do what's right, raise our standard of living, quit regulating on folks. That's what we're seeing happen very rapidly. So we are very concerned about how your commission proceeds forward. The impacts of it. Just being honest with you, with all due respect, I say that's the reality. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner, for being with us. Are there any other elected officials?
Okay, seeing none, we will now move to
Comments from the general public?
and I am looking at the people that signed up online in order. We will start with Leslie Robinson.
Good morning. I'm Leslie Robinson, Chairman of the Grand Valley Citizens Alliance in the Rifle Battlement Mesa area. Thank you so much for coming this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you directly, not as another talking head on a Zoom call. Our members also want to extend their appreciation to your special effort to be here today. Our Battlement Mesa folks wish you could meet with them to learn that drilling impacts never go away. It's a missed opportunity since the B&B pad you are visiting today is just across the river from Battlement Mesa. We would be having a much different discussion today if Terra had not purchased Ursa in bankruptcy, which could have left behind 600 wells and 41,000 acres of public and private land. Giving oil and gas companies blanket bonding does not prevent a producer from bankruptcy, but a full bonding of each well can prevent the COGCC from becoming an accidental oil and gas producer. And no company is too big to fail. In 1982, I saw Exxon pack it up and ditch thousands of oil shale workers in Western Garfield County. Up the road, in fact, from the B&V pad, you can still see the skeletons of the oil shale era. Since 1997, GBCA members have tried to make a difference in the state's management of oil and gas development. It took over 10 years of citizen lobbying just for the COGCC to move the setback goalpost from 150 to 300 feet, 150 feet being a safe distance should a rig fall down. Since 2008, our members have lobbied for 2,000-foot setbacks. And thank you for acknowledging this effort by adopting Health and Safety 181 rules now in use. However, our members will not take lightly any off-ramps or variances to that 2,000-foot setback we fought so long and hard for. Lastly, my signature is on the letter of complaint, specifically noting that your tours today should have been open and accommodating for public attendance. Why is this important? It's for the years we have had little voice. In this new COGCC era, especially when a quorum is present on a tour at an oil and gas facility, the public should hear what you hear. The public should see what you see. We believe the information exchanged today on tour will serve as the basis for any future action within your policy-making powers, and therefore the tour should be open to the public for participation. Again, thank you so much for coming up, and we appreciate the effort that you've made today.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. We appreciate you being here with us. Now we'll call upon Nina Anderson.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Nina Anderson. I'm the CEO and president for Express Employment Professionals in Grand Junction and in Montrose. In the last 15 years since starting that company, I've put over 8,000 people to work with over 700 companies. My training in human resources and organizational development lead me to my first request from you, and that is to get the rules set. We only see optimal performance if we know what the goal is. We can only develop and create policies and practices around a given goal. That's just common human resources knowledge. I'm also here as a fourth generation Colorado native. My great grandmother was first generation, born in Boulder in 1881. She later went on to homestead in Routt County, where my family raised sheep and lived off the land. My family now has a farm still in Moffat County. We are very proud energy neighbors for Trapper Mine, who when allowed to be, can be a very good neighbor. We have not had any issues with them. They've always been a great neighbor. They have helped my family out through a lot of hard times as my dad was sick. So today, my second ask, because you're asking us to trust you to make rules, is to reciprocate that trust, knowing that we live off this land, not just work and play, and that we will treat this land correctly if given the opportunity. My final ask is to consider my mother, who is 81 years old and still on our family farm in Moffat County, and to think about her energy costs, as she does not have access to municipalities. She lives off of her well water, so she knows full well what the impact of extraction can be. She also knows full well what the cost of propane is on her retirement. So as you consider organizational development, as you consider my request for reciprocal trust, please also think about the elderly in our communities. Thank you again, Nina Anderson, Express Employment.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anderson. We now will call upon Lulu Colby.
I guess these things, do they lower or do we just, can you, is that right? Right there? Okay.
We can hear you okay.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, commissioners. And I want you to know that it's fear that brings me here today. Fear the new mission statement is crumbling. 181, the new rulemakings are being made a mockery of, are meaningless. Operators navigate the rules, lobby agency staff more stringently, pay a few more dollars, claim to minimize and mitigate effects. Rules are circumvented, variances given, oil and gas fostered. Why am I concerned? Terra is at work on plans to develop the West Mam Creek area south of Rifle, site of my home and inholding in the White River National Forest. Development will necessitate violating high priority habitat, 2 locations within 2,000 feet of a residence, well density exceeding the 1 per square mile limit, building up gradient of a wetland, spring, creek, water well, and within 250 feet of the spring that is my home's water supply. West Mam is 10 miles south of where you're having lunch today. Its snow-filled peak and escarpments are visible from across the valley. Just gaze south as you travel west on the freeway to Rifle. Don't forget me, Lulu. I will be fighting tooth and nail to save my valley from this oil and gas incursion and monitoring the state's adherence to its mission to protect. I was the Northwest Reclamation Specialist for more than 6 years. I know what happens, the inevitable. If you have oil and gas, it's only a question of when you have spills, leaks, emissions, failures of containment equipment, and BMPs. The intent of the new rules was to protect, exclude sensitive environments and homes from these inevitable failures. Where will you mitigate to? Sacrifice this area for that? You will be deciding which home, species, high priority habitat, forest, watershed are important enough to protect. As in my area, wildlife is pressured from all sides. Where do they go? Elsewhere? Where do I go for clean water? Elsewhere? Please, you can and must stop the march of high density oil and gas. Save our dwindling pockets of refuge. Please regulate, don't foster. Don't grant variances and COAs that vitiate the rules. Adhere to your mission statement. Commissioners, there is no elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. We appreciate you being with us. We next call upon Fred Mallow. Next, we would call upon Britta Horn. Next, we would call upon Darren Smith.
Good morning. My name is Darren Smith. I'm a 20-year resident of Garfield County, and I want to thank you for coming to Glenwood Springs. While our city is certainly not the epicenter of oil and gas development here on the West Slope, I appreciate you being here. With the passage of House Bill SB 181 in 2019, this commission has been drastically overhauled from a largely volunteer effort fostering safe and responsible oil and gas development in Colorado to one that now has all paid members appointed by the governor. Taxpayers for the first time now are on the hook for all your salaries and benefits. Excluding the executive members, your website shows that the current payroll for the mix of 3 Democrats, 2 unaffiliates, and 0 Republican commissioners now costs us over $750,000, a bitter pill to swallow for all of us hardworking types who were very well served by the volunteer commissioners of prior. I'm hopeful from this new commission staff that we will soon see a new set of efficient and effective results without further delay. Speaking of the volunteer organization we once benefited from, let us not forget that these are the same leaders who brought Colorado citizens one of the most modern, effective, and very stringent set of development and production practices in all of the United States. Under their guidance and expertise, Colorado advanced to lead the nation in clean, safe, and affordable energy development. At the same time, operators here were profitable and continued to seek new opportunities to invest resources here. Local governments benefited as well in this period as tax revenues collected worked to benefit and improve the lives of the people living there. This latest iteration of Colorado Oil and Gas Commission under the governor's design has new orders to now mandate how things will be. In result, we have seen how this commission has effectively changed rules and regulations with seemingly minimal concern for the totality of the citizens it affects. Now that the unpopular is done, it is high time to settle in and let that work settle in and let companies prove yet again that there are safe operators who can protect the health, safety, and the general environment here on the West Slope. We also understand that oil and gas activists seem to have more of the governor's ear than those that are pro oil and gas. These activists will not stop until there is zero oil and gas development within our state. There's this absolutely silliness in thinking, but also cruel in the result. I will not repeat what Mr. Jankowski identified as just some of the benefits from oil and gas, but I will certainly remind you that electricity produced from Colorado natural gas reserves powered the hospitals that provided critical life-saving care as we moved through the COVID pandemic. Moving forward, I implore you as commissioners to utilize sound and scientific reason and not activist hyperbole as you investigate and rule on future permits. Colorado is a net exporter of natural gas, which allows us to support global climate efforts by providing clean Colorado natural gas to our global partners who would otherwise burn coal, wood, or some other less clean gas for energy. Few in this room today have seen that coal currently mined in Western Colorado is now being shipped in huge quantities to China for use in their new coal-fired power plants. Let the irony of that soak in for a minute. With the current jump in inflation across the board, seniors receiving only Social Security, may soon face the real possibility of being unable to heat their homes. This due to fluxes in the supply. Imagine you yourself having to choose between food or heat this winter. It's a gruesome outcome either way, but one we can certainly avoid if we can get this commission to start providing the effective results that we are paying for. As I close this out, I wish to remind the commission that with what little oil and gas development we have left here on the Western Slope is extremely critical to all of our communities, our Western Colorado economy, and all of our families here at large. If the current COGCC doesn't begin working through permits in earnest and begin proving them without further delay, then imminent energy crisis in Colorado will be this revised commission's lifetime legacy, a legacy that will contrast sharply with the generous salaries that forces taxpayers like myself to work harder to be able to pay them. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Messner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for testifying. I do want to acknowledge that as a previous volunteer commissioner and now a professional commissioner, thank you for appreciating the work we did as a volunteer commission. I think we also did a good job. I also want to make sure that it's understood out there that the reason that we're 5 paid commissioners right now is because industry asked for that to happen as part of SB 19-181, because industry felt like having 5 full-time commissioners was an important step to ensure that there was consistency in how we regulate oil and gas in the state. So I didn't want any misconception to happen there around why it was developed as 5 professional commission members, but thank you for the acknowledgement of the volunteer commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Messner. At this point, I'm going to have to call an audible. We are having audio difficulties with regard to Zoom, and my staff is indicating if we take about 10, 15 minutes, we hope to get that up and running. Is that right, Ms. Castle? Okay, so we do need to have this recorded. So it is 9:05. We'll return back at 9:20. We have a few more members that are signed up here in the room that want to testify. And if anybody else that's in the room that desires to testify, please let staff know, and we'll definitely call upon you as well. We want to hear from everybody that showed up to be here with us. So we'll be back at 9:20. Thank you.